Have you ever been just hanging out with your dog or maybe watching birds in a park and you just wonder, like, what are they actually thinking? What are they saying to each other or even to us? It's a question that feels like it's pulled right out of a fairy tale. I mean, really, really talk to them, not just sit and stay, but a genuine back and forth conversation. It's the ultimate dream, right? The idea of being a real-life Dr. Dolittle, getting all the gossip from every creature, great and small. All right, so let's get into it. The Dr. Doodle dream. Now, while having a deep conversation with a squirrel about nut hoarding strategies is probably still science fiction, the reality is honestly even more amazing. The truth is, the animal kingdom is already buzzing with chatter. We just haven't known how to tune in.
See, they operate on a totally different sensory level than we do. It's a whole world of invisible messages carried on the breeze, secret light shows that are completely hidden from our eyes, and, well, conversations that are passed through some pretty unexpected mediums. It's this massive communication network that's running all around us, all the time.
So, our first stop on this little tour is maybe the most alien to us sight and sound people, the world of smell. For so many animals, the air isn't just for breathing, it's basically their high-speed internet. And the language they're using is called pheromones. These are these tiny little chemical signals that carry tons of information. Seriously, the best way to think of them is like invisible text messages, floating through the air saying everything from, "Hey, I'm available," to, "This tree is mine, so back off."
And for our first and probably my all-time favorite example of this, let's meet the ring-tailed lemur. These guys have turned their personal fragrance into a high art.
Okay, so here's how it works. A male lemur wants to impress a female, so he rubs his wrist glands to mix up his own personal brand of cologne. Then he slathers it all over his big fluffy tail and just wafts it in her direction. It's a move perfectly named stink flirting. But it's a bold move, because that same romantic gesture can tick off other males and start a full-blown stink fight. High-stakes dating, right?
So from love letters on the wind, we're moving on to social media. Because it turns out spectacled bears, with a sense of smell that's something like 2,000 times better than ours, have basically invented Facebook but for trees.
When a bear comes up to a tree and rubs its back on it, claws up the bark, and leaves a little urine marker, it's not just scratching an itch. No, it's posting a detailed status update. Other bears can come by, have a good sniff, and literally read the profile to see who's around, how old they are, their gender, even their social status.
But if you think that's wild, hold on. For rhinos, the real community bulletin board is the poop. I'm serious. They have these communal dung heaps called middens, and they're basically the town square for information exchange.
This is not just random waste. One little calling card in the pile can reveal an animal's gender, its health, and even its social standing. It tells everyone if they're the big boss in charge or just a nervous newcomer. And for a hopeful male, it's how he finds out if there are any single ladies in the area. It's literally the daily scoop.
Okay, so we've sniffed out the messages animals leave behind. But what about the signals they're sending in real time? Well, it turns out there's a whole secret light show going on all around us, one that is completely invisible to human eyes.
So we all know chameleons are masters of disguise, right? They change color to blend in. That's what we see. But what do they see? It turns out under UV light, little bony bumps on their skulls actually glow. They fluoresce. So to each other, they have a secret, glowing skeleton pattern that they use to send signals. It's a private channel, totally hidden from us.
Smells, glowing skeletons, this is all just incredible communication, no question. But it brings us to the big one, the question we started with.
With everything we've just seen, can we say that animals are actually using language? And is there really a difference between the two? Well, scientifically speaking, yeah, there's a huge one. So here's the crucial difference. Most animal communication is about the here and now. A scent says, "I was here a little while ago." An alarm call means, "Danger, right this second." But language is a whole different beast. It uses symbols, like words, and rules, like grammar, to talk about, well, anything. The past, the future, ideas, even things that aren't even real.
Now, some animals get really close to blurring that line. A great example is the vervet monkeys in Africa. You could say they have a kind of danger dictionary. And this isn't just some general, watch out kind of scream. Each alarm call is super specific. A leopard call makes the whole troop scamper up into the thinnest branches where a leopard can't get them. A totally different eagle call sends them diving for cover in the thick bushes, and a third snake call makes them all stand up on their hind legs and scan the ground. So that's a specific sound for a specific threat, triggering a specific action. That is getting awfully close to having words for things.
But then, there are some animals that just blow the doors off our definitions and make scientists rethink everything. Let's meet the certified geniuses of the animal kingdom.
First up, there was Alex, the African gray parrot. This bird wasn't just copying sounds. He could identify objects, shapes, colors, and he even understood the concept of zero. Then you've got killer whales, who are just on another level entirely. They can learn complex sign language and understand whole phrases.
But here's the part that just breaks my brain. They understand that the order of the signals changes the meaning. They get that go and spit is a totally different command than spit and go. That's syntax. That is a core building block of human language, and they've got it. So, after all that, where are we? We've seen these incredible communication systems, from stink flirting to actual syntax, and it leads us to this beautiful and kind of heartbreaking paradox.
One researcher, Dr. Mark Hauer, put it perfectly. He said, "The animals are thinking rich thoughts, but don't have the vehicles to express them. It suggests this rich inner world, these complex thoughts and feelings, but they might be trapped without the tool of language to share it all with us."
And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. For centuries, we've been trying to teach animals our language. But maybe the real adventure, the real discovery, is just learning to listen better to theirs. Because if they can't tell us what they're thinking, just imagine what we're missing out on.